I'm just gonna
Real
say
high.
I'm not sure if I'm comfortable talking about this because I feel like he's the type of person who will find out where we live.
He's dead.
Not
He's
anymore, he
dead.
won't.
Oh, he is.
He's dead.
Oh,
Just died. Heart attack.
I feel bad about that. Oh, right. We talked about
Yeah,
that.
that's
2
why I
weeks ago.
picked this. I was
Okay.
gonna do our guy Nick Cage,
Whew.
but
Gotta say that.
Man is
well, not anymore. I guess we could do it. So New Jack, the life and crimes of New Jack, the Dark Side of the Ring episode from last year, season 2. And yeah, my God,
scary motherfucker.
it's one of those things where I said, "Oh, last week, R.I.P. New Jack, sad story." But then you watch this and you're like,
Oh,
"Ugh, he's kind of a shithead,
yeah.
Yeah.
asshole." Like, am I that sad about it? I don't know. I guess still, sure, it's sad when anybody passes
Yeah, it
away.
still sucks, but he not a great dude.
Not great. The life and crimes of New Jack. How much did you know about New Jack before? I didn't know very much. I knew him as the guy who brought the garbage can, or not the garbage can, the shopping cart full of shit down and would hit people, and his music would play. And I knew that he stabbed somebody, and I knew he was a dickhead that a lot of people hated.
I knew that he
that's
took a lot of like liberties in the ring,
Yeah.
but I didn't know the specifics. The stabbing was vaguely familiar, but yeah, mostly I just knew him as like an actual dangerous dude in ECW.
I knew there was a person who brought a shopping cart full of weapons to the ring.
You
Didn't know his name.
Right.
Didn't know anything about him.
Well,
But
that's New Jack.
I feel like that's a good thing not to know much about this man.
Yeah. We start out with how far is too far with New Jack? How far is too far? Obviously, he crossed the line
He tried to murder people
at least 2 or 3
so-
times.
3, I would say at
Um,
least 3 times he tried to.
I love when they play him some clips and he comes in, and he's not a guy who's interviewed a ton. I think he did some shoot interviews, but I feel like he was out of the public light for a while. But he gets on and he goes, the producer's saying something. He goes, "I dare you to say that shit to my face." That was his response. He's a scary human being.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette, problematic dude, problematic person.
Jim Cornette himself.
Not a good guy as well. He's on
Yeah,
stock
we'll
quite a
get-
bit. He's on all these.
He's
One of
on
his
a lot
reactions
of
later,
these.
I was like, "Come on, Jim! Like, I know this is your shtick, but you look like a real jerk now."
Yeah, he's in a lot of these dark sides.
He's like one of
and
the main talking heads.
Yeah. There was one where he brings people up into his attic
Yes.
and it's just comic books of wrestling and just
He
all
says
over-
so
like,
much
it's,
wrestling.
it's crazy. Like it's hoarder level
Yeah.
crazy.
I heard him tell a story one time that he was at WCW and they were throwing out the Crockett tapes. Like they were just throwing out the back catalog because they didn't want it anymore.
Yeah,
And it was like Crockett 78 or whatever. They're just thrown in the garbage. And he's like, "Can I take all this stuff? Like, this is kind of important." So he took all of the tapes. So he has the entire like collection of like Crockett, and he owns it because and he can
just
like
claim
print it. Yeah. Now he can like use it if he needs to.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I feel like WWE will buy that from at some point.
I'm sure he cut some kind of deal with them about it. Cornette says he has no idea what New Jack's actual real life backstory is. Like, I could not tell you a single thing.
Yeah,
that
I've heard so many things.
I would
Yeah.
believe that.
Right. New Jack then expounds on himself. He says he got the name from the movie New Jack City. Have you ever seen that movie? I haven't seen
I
that
have
movie.
not.
I literally thought that's what we were talking about whenever we would mention New Jack. I was like, New Jack City, that's a movie.
That's a
or
movie,
something.
yeah, a popular movie. He says that he trained out west, which I thought was interesting. He said his trainer said, "Create something you've never seen before." So he did that. He went to Smoky Mountain Wrestling and he combined 3 things in his character. That's what he says. OJ Simpson, because at the exact time he shows up in Smoky Mountain, OJ Simpson is on trial for murder.
Mhm.
Yeah, because he shows him saying like, "Keep up the good work, brother."
Yep. The Rodney King riots, which also had just happened,
Right.
and rap group NWA had
Yep.
just showed up. So he combined those 3 into a character. in the West, and then he was brought into Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and he was told, "Piss these asshole white rednecks off."
This version of New Jack
It's
was
very good.
awesome.
Yeah. This promo, they show most of the promo. The first promo he does when he goes to Smoky Mountain, where he says that thing about OJ, keep up the good work, is an incredible promo.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome compared to every other dumbass thing happening on Smoky Mountain. Was real stupid.
Yeah.
There was a lot of dumb characters on there. Like the Kane before he was really Kane and all that. Like there was some goofy ass shit on there. So it's him and this guy Mustafa, who was his partner, who was basically just like a Flavor Flav kind of guy,
Yeah.
who would be like, "Yeah,
He
New
was
Jack,"
also a giant, like,
scary looking
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
but
Just
his
making random noises. in
entire
interviews.
role was just to be weird
Yeah.
and like hype up New Jack, and he was very good at it. Their tag team name is the Gangstas, which
weirdly enough.
they were supposed to be the Gangsters.
No. Let's just drop the
Just put an A in there.
Yeah.
Um,
That was his idea.
That's New Jack's idea. Sandman and D'Lo are two big talking heads on this one. Sandman because he was buddies with New Jack, or like they got along, they understood each other.
He
or
was the
something.
white version of New Jack.
And D'Lo, I had no idea D'Lo worked with the Gangsters.
I
had
didn't either.
idea.
Nope.
A lot of dudes from Smoky Mountain like went to WWF. You can, if you watch Smoky Mountain, you're like, oh, there's, like I said, Kane before he was Kane.
Now New Jack never got there though, right?
Never got to WWF.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Nope.
Now, D'Lo, I guess I'm not surprised by this, but it was interesting to see him as the voice of reason.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
he's always been a smart dude or whatever, so I'm not
Yeah,
surprised by
he's
that.
not
but
dumb.
Mhm.
He's not dumb.
I used to love when he was the European champ and he would like get announced as like
Yeah.
D'Lo Brown, from-
Dusseldorf.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
So he said he was the bump guy because New Jack and Mustafa never took any bumps, so he would get beat up as their
You would take the pins.
head of security, so he would get beat up and take the pins. And he goes, Mustafa is legitimately insane, like an insane person. And they tell a story about how crazy he is, because at one night he decided it'd be a great idea to smoke pencil shavings.
Yeah. I've never heard of this before.
I have never heard. I don't think anybody's ever done.
I
it
don't think
before.
it's a real thing.
Yeah,
but
it's not a thing. And he said, like, it's so great. I'm so hyped up. And I think even New Jack, a crazy motherfucker, is like,
Don't do that with
no,
me.
I'm not doing that. No, thanks. I'm not doing that. I'll stick to my cocaine. It's
Yeah.
much safer. It's much safer for cocaine.
and if they're lead pencils, it probably is worse than cocaine.
He said, New Jack said that Mustafa was smoking these pencil shavings one night, got himself entangled with the police, and even New Jack went out and went, it ain't me. This guy's crazy. And he was just yelling to New Jack, everybody wants to fuck me.
Yes. They all want to fuck me.
Everybody,
New Jack, they all want to fuck me.
everybody wants to fuck me. Oh boy.
Because I could just see him like being face down on like the pavement and like somebody like hold it and then he's saying, hey, they just want to fuck me.
Yeah.
They want me down to fuck me.
It's a miracle
Oh my
that,
God.
yeah, it's a miracle nothing worse happened to
Oh.
poor Mustafa.
Yeah.
We talk about the heat that the gangsters would get, and New Jack says one night, this is very fucked up, but also like kind of smart. He's like, I had to go in, I had to get dental surgery. I couldn't talk. Like I was not allowed to talk. I don't know what the story was with the dental surgery, but he had to come up with something to wrestle on the show. So he got a baby, like a baby doll from the toy store, and got a noose and just put, and it was a white baby, of course,
Mhm.
Put it-
Naturally.
put a noose around it and just walked out to the ring and held it up. Just a noose around a white baby.
Trying to
Didn't
get
say a
heat.
word
Yep.
and got insane heat because he couldn't talk because of the dentist.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
This version, like, cool. Like, I like what you're doing here.
Just getting heat, but not believing the gimmick yet.
Right.
That's the
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
So the match they wanted to set up, which is insane. And these guys have wrestled everybody. The Rock and Roll Express. It was the Gangsters versus the Rock and Roll Express.
Ricky and Robert.
And New Jack's plan for this match was to recreate the Rodney King beatings, but do it on Ricky Morton, the guy who gets the most sympathy from the audience.
Yeah, everybody loves him.
Oh my God. I can only imagine. They
Very
said that
smart
was,
still though.
yeah, they said that it was like an insane riot and they were like chased and the cops had to like get them out of there,
Yeah.
even in a tiny ass Smoky Mountain promotion.
Oh.
It was so bad the NAACP called and said like, you got to stop being crazy.
But he like loved that. He's like,
Yeah.
But
"Oh."
yeah, Cornette. Actually, this is Cornette. Sometimes I think Cornette's crazy like a fox and just is like, I'm gonna say the stupidest shit in the world because that's the only way I'm gonna get any attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the only way my show's gonna get downloads. And that's why he says like he's gonna tar and feather Kenny Omega and stuff like that. That pisses people off just so people will listen. But I do think he also like believes his stupid hype somewhat. But here, like you can see that he is kind of smart. And he's like, NAACP sent us this letter. So I just put it up during all of New Jack's promos to like piss people off even further. The NAACP
Yeah, that even they are telling him to stop.
and the Smoky Mountain organization does not agree with whatever New Jack says right now. Like as he's saying it.
They put a disclaimer up. Yeah.
Very good. And then D'Lo was talking about the heat, how much heat they were getting. And he says, it's really weird because I don't want people to be racist to me. Like, I don't want to be called the N-word. I don't want any of this stuff. But my job is to get people to call me the N-word.
Right. Yeah.
So it's really weird. And like, I need to go out there and make people be racist to me. And it's really confusing.
Yeah. That's gotta be. That's gotta be.
It's
so
like such a mind fuck.
Yeah.
New Jack tells a story about how a little boy came up to this is very sad. A boy came up to New Jack and said, I want to shake your hand. So New Jack said, sure, I'll shake your hand. And the boy said, oh good, the black skin doesn't rub off on me.
Yeah.
And New Jack was like, who told you that? And the boy said, my dad told me that. It's like, wow, that's some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
So this guy's been through a ton of shit. ECW comes to call him because Smoky Mountain, you're not making a lot of money in Smoky
No.
Mountain. So ECW calls
And they're hot.
and
at
they're
this
like,
point.
you are perfect for this. And New Jack says, the first thing I thought was, I want to get this money. And the second thing I thought was, welcome home, because I fit right in with this place.
Yep.
And a rare, Cornette has like a soft spot for New Jack, I feel like, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he says, like, I regret the way it ended. I regret the way things ended. We don't really know.
Yeah. But he said, I
How it
wish we had
ends?
gone out on good terms or something like
Yeah,
that.
he regrets whatever happened with New Jack for him to go to ECW. And he buries ECW. Cornette buries ECW, but he buries it in like a very logical way.
Mm.
Where he's like, you jump off of a 10-foot balcony, and then
what?
You got to jump off a 20-foot balcony, and then what? You got to jump off a 30-foot. Then you got to jump off the roof of the fucking building, basically, to get these people to cheer. And you painted yourself into a ridiculous corner because of this, and that's exactly part of ECW's problem.
Yeah.
And all hardcore wrestling's problem. And WWF's problem, because everybody thinks, oh, Mankind thrown off the cage is WWF. And it's like, yeah, that guy almost died and is still like completely fucked from that bump today.
Yeah.
Teeth missing. Like, I'm sure he's got some concussion issues. You know, you can't recreate that. And everybody
And
wants
he
that.
is a unique individual. Most people wouldn't even have
Right.
bounced back the way that he did.
Yeah.
He's like a genius for the way that he took that bump.
Yeah. Most of them
And
wouldn't-
still was almost fucking dead.
Yeah. Most of people wouldn't even take the bump.
Right. Right. It's just, it makes a lot of sense. Anyway. Sandman and New Jack are the first two to meet. Sandman is very funny. He's just a dude. There's something about Sandman. He just reminds me of like a Cahoe's like weirdo that you would hang out with, and he's just like smoking cigarettes, just telling the truth. They're just like, me and New Jack got along because like you just don't fuck with him.
Yeah.
You just don't fuck with him. And I just knew when I first met him, like, you just don't fuck with them and you're fine. Like I know how this works, which I thought was funny. Paul Heyman, they give a little bit of backstory on Paul Heyman, even though we already know who Paul Heyman is.
Paulie Dangerous.
He ran ECW, and that it was hardcore and all this stuff. And then New Jack comes on and he goes, everybody's asked me all these questions about all this shit I did. You know what? My childhood was fucked.
Yeah.
My dad stabbed my mom
Yep.
in front of the whole family. He didn't give a fuck. He just stabbed my mom. And then later on, my mom was carrying me somewhere and he shot her.
Yeah, he tried to leave with me, so he shot her in the leg.
Shot her in the leg when she tried to leave. Jesus Christ. But later he also says, like, I hated my mom. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa. Damn, New Jack. We get into mass transit, which is like there's so much about this.
I knew a little bit about this, but I didn't know. I
Oh.
didn't know this.
the
big
big
guy.
guy.
Okay,
Mass
yeah.
transit. We
The
get into
big
kid.
17-year-old.
Kid, yes.
yeah, basically a kid. This whole mass transit thing just reminds me of like I could see this happening
Yeah.
to somebody. We get to meet Tiny the Terrible, who's a little person wrestler who was a part of the mass transit gimmick, which was a dude dressed up as a bus driver
Mhm.
who would beat up little people in matches. That was his gimmick.
It was Tiny and his brother. I
His
think he
brother,
said?
yeah.
Yeah.
And they would have like ridiculous matches.
Yeah, so
And-
that's how he got famous, because it was a big guy fighting some little guy.
Yeah,
they
they
the
showed
little
the-
guys were actually going for it instead of being like
Yeah.
just comic characters.
They showed the two little guys give him a double
Suplex.
suplex. Thank
They
you.
suplexed the big guy.
And I was like, holy shit, he's gonna
Yeah.
die on this. And then he didn't die. I'm like, oh my god, okay. They're pretty good.
yeah. Tiny the Terrible's claim to fame is he was on Jerry Springer one time as a tiny wrestler.
Yep.
So and I recognized him. I'm like, why do I recognize him? But we find out later why.
Right. He did say too, like they asked him, but like how he felt about being in Springer, and he was like, "I loved it. I got all the girls."
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Got so much pussy that way.
How? Don't get it.
Hood rats.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So mass transit is this kid, 17-year-old kid, pretending to be 21,
Mhm.
who is a bus driver gimmick, and he tried to get into ECW, and so they let him in because his internet video was popular. So they let him in to get squashed by somebody.
No, it was gonna be him versus Tiny
Yeah,
and
he's
his
gonna
brother.
fight his match.
Oh, it was going to be his match.
Yeah.
Okay. But then he didn't want to do that. What happened?
Somebody
there?
else had to like back out of his match against New Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, New Jack didn't have a match.
Right.
I forget
the
who-
guy got hurt or something like that.
It was a name that I recognized. It was
Yeah.
like a regular on ECW,
Okay.
but
So-
he couldn't wrestle or he wasn't there that night or whatever. So they needed to find somebody. So they caught Tiny the Terrible out and just said like, "All right, you go out there and fight New Jack."
was it Axel Rotten?
Yes, it was Axel Rotten.
Axel Rotten wasn't there that night, so they needed somebody else to fight New Jack. So Mass Transit said he would do it. He was not trained. He
Nope.
just had these one-off like gimmick matches, and he was 17. And New Jack was supposed to kill him. That's what Paul E told him to do. Go out there and kill him. So it was a tag
So they
match.
tried.
This is what's crazy to me.
It was it
Yeah, it
was a
was,
tag
right?
match.
Yeah,
This is crazy to me. So
With because he was with D'Lo.
Mass Transit teamed with
With Devon.
Devon Dudley,
yeah. And he basically said,
Devon.
"Devon, get out and don't get back in."
Yeah.
and Devon didn't help this kid,
No.
No,
which is crazy to me.
probably
Um,
afraid of New Jack, but no, he didn't.
So Mass Transit asked New Jack for some offense in the match,
Yeah.
that-
Going over the match. Yeah.
and that pissed off New Jack.
And Sandman found that hilarious. That
Yeah.
that's why.
He just found it out for the first time when the producers
I was
says
like,
it.
"Oh yeah, that makes sense."
Oh, Jack,
That's
that,
what pissed him off.
that makes a lot more sense now.
Mhm.
Like, oh boy.
But then
Um,
also said like, "But also bust me open" or whatever.
He said, "Make me bleed."
Yeah.
Bad idea. Cornette describes blading for the novice. What
Mhm.
blading is. He said there's different versions of it.
Yeah, the hard way.
and blade and the easy way, stabbing a motherfucker.
Ric Flair, did you know? Hard way every time.
Always. New Jack says, "Well, he told me to hit him. He told me to cut him open. He also was a dick to me, but I was high on cocaine the whole time. This is a recurring theme.
Yep.
I was just high on cocaine. I was high as fuck. Tells Devon just get the fuck out of here and get out of here. And then New Jack took a scalpel, surgical scalpel, and stabbed this kid in the head.
He said, like, I stabbed him and nothing happened, so I just cut his face open.
So he
Just cut his forehead.
right across the
He went
top of
like-
his
he went
forehead
like right across the forehead, and he said nothing came out. So I just kept going. was like,
until he
"Oh."
was just gushing blood. And then you know what else? They continued the match, and he beat the living
Yeah.
fuck out of this guy.
Yeah. It did not
Including
end quickly.
That chair shot where he took a chair,
Jumped
le-
off
and
the
jumped off the top rope with it,
Yeah.
and leg dropped this dude on the forehead.
Yeah.
That was bleeding, killed him with it. Like, not protected in any way. Just destroyed this kid. His dad was in the crowd yelling shit at New Jack.
Yeah, young, like he's 17.
Yeah, stop. He
And I
was
feel like
pissed.
New Jack did not care.
He
Like
did not give a fuck that
that,
pushed
Fine,
that,
cocaine.
he heard.
that egged him on.
Yeah,
Cocaine is
seems
a hell of
like.
a drug.
Egged him on to do more. In the back, Eric's dad was so mad that he started calling the N-word. Started calling New Jack the N-word.
Oh.
And then Eric had to get 50 stitches in his fucking
Yeah,
head.
had to get legit taken out by the paramedics.
50 stitches in his head. And he left wrestling. Where did that come from?
That's you. That's
I
definitely
hit something with my knee. This kid was like, I'm never wrestling ever again.
Yeah.
Because of this. New Jack gets charged with assault and battery and goes to trial for this shit. And they say, we're going to give you 5 years in prison if you just admit to it, and like, we'll get on with this as your deal. Only 5 years. But his lawyer said,
I can beat this.
yeah,
I
we're
think
gonna
I can beat
we're
this.
gonna beat this. And New Jack talks about the jurors. He's like, it was 6 old white ladies and one 80-year-old black guy.
Kept falling
And
asleep.
I knew I was in good shape when I saw that one dude. He's like, they're never gonna agree if he's on this. They're never gonna agree.
That's what he's like. He kept falling asleep. I'm like, come on, man, wake up.
Tiny comes on and says, this is so fucking weird. He's flipped.
He's on nobody's side.
Yeah.
He's now flipped on mass transit because his dad was a dick to him.
That and because he was like, oh, I'm going for myself. I'm gonna
Yeah.
fight in this match.
I'm gonna screw over mass transit to get ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I meant like Mass Transit was saying to him before
Right,
the match.
right.
He's like, oh,
I
I'm
don't give a
gonna
Yeah.
fight. I'm gonna wrestle them instead of you guys.
Yeah, I don't give a
So-
fuck about you anymore. So so he talks to New Jack and says, like, I'll testify on your side if you get me into WWF. I'm like,
Which New Jack has no connection
yeah,
to.
he doesn't. How? Like, so, but then Tiny says he did get into
He's like, I don't know
WWF.
what he did, but
I
got
got
to
in
go.
there. So he was like, in like the year 2000, he was there as like a comedy spot. I forget what
Their
it was.
name, the name of the act was
the Twin Towers.
which
Was it? No, it
there was
wasn't Shane.
also a real Twin Towers earlier on in WWF.
Yeah, way long ago.
Yeah, like in the 90s,
This
because they
is-
were in one of the other Dark Sides of the Ring. I'm like, oh,
I'm pretty
different-
sure this is like making fun of Undertaker and Kane, or
Yes.
Big Show and Undertaker, or something like that. Because it's Stephanie and Shane and Triple H, I think, in the ring
yeah,
doing it,
making the
making these
match.
jokes.
Yeah,
So yeah, so he's going to
Oh, the
help
Twin
out New
Towers
Jack.
were Hakeem the African Dream,
back in
who was
the
a
day.
white guy,
back in the day.
and the Big Boss Man.
really? That's who that? No, there was somebody before them. Then
There must be maybe a WCW.
maybe
Big Bubba Rogers and Hakeem, who was also the one man gang.
Right.
/ they made him the African Dream, even though he's a white guy.
Yes. Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman
That's problematic.
takes a stand in
Oh,
the trial, and they say,
And he says too, like he is like playing these dudes. They're not
yeah.
playing,
New
but
Jack was
working.
like,
he's
yeah,
working his whole
Heyman
time.
worked the entire
Yeah.
trial.
Yeah.
Just working everybody in New Jack's favor.
Yeah,
And that
which
they get to a part in the in the trial and they go, what did Eric's dad say to New Jack? And Paul Heyman's like, he said the N-word to New Jack backstage, and the jury or
The old black
the
man.
judge was like, you need to say it. Paul
I need you to
Heyman
say it. I need you to
literally went to he turned to New Jack and said, sorry, I don't want to say it, but they're gonna make me say it. So he said it, and when he said it,
the old black man like, whoa.
the juror
Sat up.
woke up and he was like, whoa. And he said even the 6 old white ladies were like, oh,
Oh,
my
no.
goodness.
And it was like he said something like, I knew I was okay right there.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, Jesus.
So he's found not guilty for this thing, which he should have been maybe
he
found
should have.
guilty.
He should have been found guilty.
Jesus, he wasn't egged on
It's-
until after.
Right. Like it's part of wrestling. Like, you know, you're getting into it, but also this is not a part of wrestling.
Right.
No.
And Jim Cornette talks about that. He's like, there's one thing where it's like you all agree to everything in the back and then you go out and do it and somebody gets hurt. That's one thing. But another thing is to not tell somebody you're going to stab them in the fucking head
Yeah.
and then stab them in the head a bunch of times and then they don't know it's coming. And it's so much worse if you do that. So New Jack gets out of it. He gets sued, a civil suit. But Mass Transit dies from complications of gastric bypass surgery,
Yeah.
is what they say. I had thought it was suicide.
I was
had
expecting them to say suicide.
I had always heard suicide, but they say complications from gastric bypass. So, okay. And they asked New Jack, do you feel bad? And he said, I don't give a fuck.
It had nothing to do with me. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck that he died. Like, okay. Well,
Like,
that's
oh,
not
am I
great.
sorry he's dead? Whatever. Like,
I don't
it
care.
had nothing to do with me.
Yeah, I didn't have anything.
Okay.
Jesus.
Wasn't me.
Then they say that they tried to ask the family if they wanted to say anything, just to be fair. And they said, no, we're so traumatized by the whole thing. We want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, God damn. New Jack talks about how he snorted cocaine in the locker room every single night before matches, which is just like,
A lot of it.
they always talk about like, don't be impaired for your match. This dude snorting cocaine before matches. And he said, gave me an edge. Well, I think a little bit of too much of an edge. Sorry, Jack.
Yeah.
Um,
Considering he almost tried to kill 2 more people.
yeah, so we're gonna get to them. So after that, it was all about how much further can I go?
Right.
Which is
They're always
Cornette.
trying to one up each other,
Right.
that kind of thing.
And we talk about Vic Grimes, a match he had with Vic Grimes,
Is this the big guy?
the big guy.
The other
Where
big
they,
guy.
they climb up in the balcony and they
Yeah.
fall off because Vic Grimes is up there and says like,
I don't want to do it.
I'm afraid and now because I'm very high up and I don't want to fall off through these ridiculously placed 2 stupid tables.
Yeah.
Yep.
And New Jack is like, you're gonna jump off.
Yeah, you
Like,
told me you're gonna.
Yeah. We're going on 3.
we're going.
It's like, no, I don't want to do it.
And Vic Grimes doesn't cooperate with the fall. Like he obviously is fighting New Jack and New Jack pulls him down.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they miss these tables.
Does a flip, some like a full flip
He does a
Mhm.
full flip and lands like back bump on the floor.
N-
on the
on New
ground,
Jack's head.
Yeah. No.
and
Vic,
on
yeah.
New Jack's
Vic,
head.
Vic lands right on New Jack. Yeah.
And this cracks open New Jack's skull.
Yeah.
And he loses eyesight in his left eye.
Yeah, I think so. Because he's got a
And
bump on.
It's
his
an
left eye, too.
insane. What'd you drop?
Nothing. I was trying to move my chair.
Oh, you're stuck on the carpet.
You go. I'm just moving my chair.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. So yeah, and that's the craziest looking wrestling fall I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Until
Oh yeah, until
He
gets
actually
his
attempts to
fucking
murder him.
until
He tries to murder him, and he says, "I
Yeah.
tried to murder him."
yeah. So New Jack is
Yeah,
pissed.
I was aiming for the floor, but I didn't throw him hard enough.
So New Jack's pissed off that this dude didn't want to jump and then landed on his head, cracking his skull open, and then
And then
he
didn't
says,
didn't come and see him in the
he
hospital
didn't
or anything.
check
like
on
that.
him or
Yeah.
call him or any of that.
Now I could understand that being upset somebody that,
Yeah.
like who injured you, who went
Right.
against his word, doesn't come and check on you when you
This is
could be
the-
fighting for your life. I mean, crack
Sure.
skull. That's a
That's
Yep.
not
But also, I could see the other dudes being like, "No, I don't want to check on him." I told him no, and he pulled me off of there.
yeah.
fair.
He made me land on his head. I said, "No, I'm not going," and he pulled me off.
This is the reason that Austin hates Owen Hart. because Owen Hart pile drived Austin and almost paralyzed him. And
Yeah.
Owen Hart never said anything, just kept on going. And Brett has talked about that. He's like, my brother's a great guy, so many great things about him. He's like, that's the one thing I can't understand why he just never did it. I think he was just so embarrassed that he hurt somebody that he just couldn't bring himself to check on Steve or like say he was sorry that he did it or whatever. He just never did it. So Steve fucking hated his guts.
Yeah.
Austin fucking hated him forever.
But like, if I don't know, it would have been
That's
it
a
would've
lot
been-
different than
Yeah.
pulling someone off a balcony.
Yeah. But even so, like, I would probably go and just like, oh, you're doing okay. That was a fucking dick move to pull me off the thing with you, like,
Yeah.
Right.
and then get into like an argument that way, and then
Right.
blow off, whatever.
It seems like
Never
people
talk
like
to each other
like
again.
Sandman can deal with him because he's like,
A fucking
Go
crazy person too.
yeah, go fuck yourself. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna do something to me, I'm gonna fucking do it to you.
Yeah.
And that's why they get along. But these like timid dudes, he's just gonna take advantage of.
Mhm.
So New Jack's out for revenge. He wants another match with this dude. I don't even know if this is in ECW. I don't think it is. I think this is a
Uh-huh.
different promotion. He sets up a scaffolding match. Which why the fuck would this guy ever agree to wrestle him again?
Like a year later.
Yeah, I don't know if he feels like he owes it to him or what, but
I
yeah.
guess. So they have a rematch. New Jack's out for revenge. They don't even talk about the match.
Nope.
He gets a stun gun. They go up top on the scaffolding. He stuns this dude so he can't walk.
Yeah. Just start stunning him. That's-
Surprise stun gun.
Yep.
Yep.
And then throws him off the fucking scaffolding, attempting to throw him straight to the floor.
Yeah, he says like he hit a table because I wanted to hit the floor.
I didn't throw him hard
He
enough.
tased him so he couldn't fight back, and then he threw him.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can see the guy's legs not like
And-
responding to anything when he's picked up and thrown off. Like
And New Jack
his legs
says
are just dead fish.
that this dude said to him, "Stop! I can't move now."
Yeah.
And while he's tasing him,
He's like, I don't give a fuck.
they asked Sandman. This might be the best part of the whole documentary. They asked Sandman, "What did he say to you? Like setting up the match? What did he say to you, Sandman?" He goes, "Told me he's gonna tase a motherfucker." Jesus Christ. That's what he did. So he throws him off. He was high, of course. Throws him off the top. And it by some miracle, this dude takes a fucking terrible fall. He
Yeah,
hits like
he
a
should be
side
dead.
of a table and then like lands on the mat.
It looked like he kind of like landed on the top rope,
Yeah.
and the rope
yes.
kind of brought him back into the ring.
something like it was
like
the
saved him.
wackiest fall. So
Yeah.
he falls,
Should have killed him.
Yeah.
should have been dead, but it's a goddamn miracle. He only had like a bruised shoulder or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think dislocated.
Dislocated
Something,
shoulder.
yeah, something like that.
But that's not anywhere near death. So
no, yeah.
lucky for him. Cornette says that after that, New Jack basically started doing "Can you top this death matches?" And he did one in 2003 against a guy named Gypsy Joe.
Yeah.
And Gypsy Joe's entire gimmick was he was invincible, apparently in the 70s.
This
So,
guy, I forgot about this guy.
This
too.
old ass man fights New Jack, but his
He's like
gimmick
70
is
something.
his gimmick is he's so strong he no sells everything.
Yep.
But
Yep.
New Jack takes this as an offense.
Did he said that he wasn't told this before
Right.
the match?
He didn't know he was so old or something.
Or I thought he wasn't told that
Oh, maybe that,
that
too.
this guy's gimmick is that he doesn't.
He didn't seem
Feel
to know
pain.
any of this stuff.
Yeah.
They had this match with the
Probably
no
told him he
sells.
didn't listen, but
He was high.
high.
New Jack. He said he was getting N bombed from the crowd the whole
Mhm.
time. So he decided to get a barbed wire baseball bat out and just hit this dude as hard as he could, this 70-year-old man, in the fucking head with a barbed wire baseball bat.
3 times, yeah.
And then I think this is that promoter, right? In Florida. Is this that promoter in Florida? The guy who plays piano? Is this the one where he walks out, or is that the other one where he tries to kill somebody?
I thought it. No, I think
It's
it's
the other one.
It's the other one. Yeah.
Cornette says WWE were afraid to hire him.
like they wouldn't go near this dude.
Wouldn't even touch him. Like, no way. And he says, like, hardcore wrestling declined in 2004.
Mhm.
Nobody gave a shit about it anymore like they used to. And New Jack's bookings were going in the toilet. And he started wrestling in front of like 10 people. But he still had to have these ridiculous death matches to keep up his gimmick. So then we meet the promoter I was just talking about of Thunder Wrestling, and he's like, New Jack's a great guy. He's funny. He's a good cook. Like all this stuff about like we're friends. It's all good. But then you see later Hunter Red, a match with Hunter Red, where New
Yeah.
Jack also goes too far.
Oh, that's this guy's name.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason New Jack is pissed this time is because Hunter Red asked for this match with New Jack, and the promoter said, "Are you sure? I don't think that's a good idea." And he said, "No, I want the match." And then he went to meet with New Jack, and New Jack started, I'm assuming, telling him all these ridiculous fucking hardcore spots. And Hunter Red was like, "Oh, okay," and walked out of the meeting.
Yeah, well, this was when he was telling it. It was like this guy's not really like into it, and he cuts
I
off
think-
like
yeah.
halfway through while they're going through the spots,
Right.
and then he's like, "All right, well, I'll just see you in the fucking ring."
And then he says, "Once again, I was high on coke, drinking vodka like I am now." He has a giant glass of vodka while he's doing the interview.
Yeah.
And this guy Hunter Red was shoot punching New Jack. That's why he got so
Oh,
pissed in
yeah.
the
Yeah,
ring.
Which I
Apparently.
get that this guy was being a jerk first. What are you doing?
Immediately, like this was the start of the match, like 3 shots right to the face, right to
Yeah.
New Jack's face. So yeah, I get it.
So then he says, New Jack says, "I had a Wolverine claw in my pocket." A Wolverine claw? Why?
And then he broke off one of the claws.
Yeah.
And then use that claw to stab this man. What did he say? 9 times?
Yes, there were reports of 15, but
Stab-
I counted 9.
And this
Stabs
is
him
where
9 times.
Cornette is going, ooh, is he actually stabbing him? This is not a good look for wrestling. Like, oh, okay, thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Thanks for not caring about the guy getting stabbed, but just the overall world of wrestling.
I do laugh that like he had such a little reaction to New Jack stabbing a dude, but Kenny Omega having a match against somebody, he gets so fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, New Jack stabbed somebody. This isn't so bad. I mean, it's not great. That's not great. Kenny Omega wrestled the blow off down one time. Oh my god.
Well, Kenny Omega is actually ruining wrestling.
Oh, please get out of here. So yeah, he stabbed this guy 35 or 9 times in front of 35 people. That's it.
Oh, the
entire
was,
crowd.
That was I think Jim said, yeah, when you see somebody New Jack walking in and there's only 35 people in the crowd, that's not going to be a good thing.
No. There's a little kid in the audience too.
Yeah. The woman like this, like,
Yeah,
covering her
There's a woman
mouth,
covering her mouth, and a little kid there to
Just-
watch wrestling, like horrified. We see this promoter who's great friends with New Jack and says he's a great guy come out. to
He's a
try
great
to-
cook. What do you cook for you? Spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
All right.
right. I forgot about that.
Not like he makes great sauce,
Spaghetti.
just spaghetti. So this promoter who's best buddies with him comes out to stop the stabbing and like break this up. And New Jack straight up just pushes this dude to the ground, even though they're great buds. New Jack got arrested. Hunter Red showed up at prison and said, "I'll drop the charges if you work with me all over Florida," as like a revenge angle.
Yep.
So New Jack's like,
Which
"Great,
would have worked.
great.
Yeah.
I will certainly do that. You drop the charges and then I'll get it set up with you."
Yep.
And
Drop the
then-
charges first, and then we'll
So
do it.
he drops the charges, and then New Jack just leaves Florida and doesn't ever talk to the guy again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. New Jack said his mom called him and said, "Yo, you stabbed somebody? What is wrong with you?" And then he says, like, "I hated my mom anyway. Didn't you know my childhood was fucked up? Like, my childhood was fucked up. Like, this, you're using this as an excuse. My childhood was so fucked up, so I could just do whatever I want. Like, I could stab a motherfucker. It doesn't matter because I can always go back to my childhood was messed up. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's not okay to stab somebody
That's not how it
in this environment. Like, it's not okay.
Alleyway knife fight. Okay, it happens.
Yeah,
But-
right. But not in a predetermined wrestling match. Not okay. But I can do whatever I want because my childhood was fucked up. Like, really? Come on. Who is Jerome Young? They ask him that question and everybody else.
Is that his name?
That's
Yeah.
New
That's his
Jack's
real
real
name.
name.
Okay.
Jerome Young. Who is he? Tiny Tim says, or I'm sorry, what was his name? Tim?
Tiny the Terrible.
Tiny Terrible. Sorry, not Tim. Tiny says,
Tiny Tim.
Tiny says, you're a fucking idiot. You knew exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
Like, don't pretend like you're an innocent guy. You knew exactly what you're fucking doing.
He turns in everyone. He doesn't
Uh,
like anyone at this point.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So they said if you were having a movie end your story, New Jack, how would the ending be? And he goes, I'd be wheeled around in a wheelchair, snorting coke, and then I'd just say at the end, "Thank you, bitches," and that's how it ends. Which is kind of funny. But boy,
Yeah, not a great dude.
not
This
a
New
guy-
Jack.
not a good person. Not good. New Jack. That's Dark Side of the Ring. New Jack. The Life and Crimes of New Jack. Yikes. That's it.
That's it.
That's
Yeah, I did
it.
not watch any of the other ones, but I may go back to that at some point.
It did
There's a-
make me interested to see
Which ones did you watch?
So I watched it was Elizabeth and Randy,
Oh boy.
Yep.
Von Erichs,
Oh boy.
Mm.
the Bruiser Brody.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Murdered Bruiser
Murder.
Brody.
These
was
are
murdered.
dark.
Bruiser Brody.
This is like the dark side
It's-
of wrestling.
It's literally called the Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh right.
Did you watch Owen Hart?
No,
Oh,
not yet.
boy.
He's second season. It was
Um,
the Hispanic guy who might have been murdered.
Oh, right. They never found his killer, right?
Well, they ruled it a suicide because
Right.
he had 5 times the amount of cocaine in his body.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of
There
like
was
things.
yes, I watched that one. There was like
Yeah.
he was friends with the drug dealer, so they think something
Yeah.
went wrong there.
Yes, they think he might have been killed
Yeah.
or that he faked his death. There's allusions to that as well because apparently in the coroner's report it said uncircumcised penis, but his ex-wife or whatever said that no, he was cut, so he was a circumcised man.
Something up.
So,
Yeah.
and then there was a fourth one I watched.
There's a bunch of them. Brian Pillman just came out.
Wait,
Uh,
1, 2.
that's
3,
season
4.
3.
I
Though.
got-
We're in season 3 right
Yeah,
now.
there's one more that I watched from the first season, and it wasn't Fabulous Moolah because I saw that coming. And I was like, I'm tired.
I mean,
I'm gonna
that's
sleep.
I did watch that one. It was all about her pimping out people
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, she was not a good person.
Literally pimping him out. Yeah.
I feel like. It
What
was
do you think of,
another-
like,
Fabulous Moolah was 6. 5 was Gorgeous Gino. I think that's who you
That's
wrote.
That's
the
the
guy
one
who
who's
Von
like-
Erichs, Bruiser Brody, Montreal Screwjob,
that's
and
right.
then the match made in heaven, which I think is Randy
That
Savage.
is Randy Savage and
Liz.
Elizabeth. Yeah.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. No, it wasn't bad. It was a bit.
Oh, I love.
It was the Seth Rollins. It
Seth
was a bit.
Rollins.
Did you watch the Montreal Screwjob one?
No,
Okay, because Scott Hall
No.
comes out as like
he says
A-
it was fake.
a conspiracy. Yeah, like
Hall and Nash. always-
even
Like,
Hart was
Hart was
on
in
it.
on it.
Yeah,
yeah, they say Hart was in on it. Nash and Hall.
and
They don't like him because they're on Michael's side. Obviously, They're
My
part of the
favorite-
clique.
My favorite thing about that entire thing is
Cornette
Cornette and
and
Russo
Russo. They hate each other.
hating each other so much that they're just at the very end of that episode they're just bad mouthing each other.
Yeah,
The
they fucking
guy
hate
they're
each other.
just cutting back and forth between the two, just bad mouthing each
Every
other.
once in a while, like
And I hope there's an episode of them.
you need, if honestly, if you really want to go there, there's like a 2-hour shoot interview
Yeah.
where it's just Cornette talking about how stupid Russo is, and it's very funny.
I believe it.
It is funny, but yeah, they have
Because-
restraining orders out against each other. Like they have this whole thing.
Cornette claims that he had like explained the whole idea of the screw job
And
to
then
Vince
Russo
and
takes
Russo
credit,
in a meeting
Yeah,
because it happened in
Happened
it's got
some
this whole
old-
history thing,
yeah,
and that's when
yeah.
you see his attic full of wrestling shit.
right.
And I'm like, all right, that seems pretty believable. And then by the end of the episode, I'm like, shoot, now I really don't know which one's telling the truth because Russo's taking credit for it, but why would you want to take credit for that?
Because he'll take credit for anything
Yeah.
he can credit for.
Yeah, he will.
So
I think the true story. That's why I didn't watch that one because I'm like, I think there's a lot of BS crap in here that they're just people are just telling their own stories and like we're not going to get to the bottom of anything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it has a lot to do with either Pat Patterson or Briscoe, because they were Finnish guys in WWF.
Oh,
And I'm pretty sure one of them was like, "This is a finish we've done before, if you want to use it." But then Vince said, "Okay, I'll think about it." Didn't tell that person that I was going to do the finish.
The other thing was I felt so bad for Earl Hebner.
Right. I got another guy who like couldn't say anything and
Yeah.
like had to lie to Brett.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he said he didn't find out until he was about to walk to the ring.
Right. Because
Where-
Brett said, "Are you going to screw me tonight?" Because Brett knew something was up.
Yeah.
And
And
Hebner was like, "I would never screw you. What are you talking about?"
exactly. He got in the ring and like he was like throughout the entire match. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it because like
Yeah, what
it's
am
my
I-
job.
Yeah, what do I do?
Exactly. Poor Earl.
Yeah. We should do that one another day. 'Cause
That's
an
not a
interesting
bad
story.
one. Yeah.
Dark Side of the Ring. Go watch it. It's
They're
on
pretty
Vice.
interesting.
one of one was interesting for me.
You liked it?
And they're I did
And I
like
didn't know,
that-
like you said, I knew who New Jack was sort of,
Yeah.
but I did not know most of this.
Right.
I like that they're 45 minutes long. Kind of
Plenty,
short, but
very bite sized.
I did almost watch. There was like an hour and or like an hour and 15-minute version, which I think it was just like the director doing commentary over it,
oh maybe.
Oh, there's like an
like a
extra.
confidential or something.
There's like a bonus one. Where
Yeah.
You can There's definitely a bonus one. Mike is texting us something. What the fuck is he texting?
I don't think I could received it.
This was like an hour ago.
Oh, it was somebody got a win and then people beat him up for it and then other people came out to the ring to save him. And I don't know
Oh, this
who
isn't-
anybody is, but it's AEW.
Okay, it's an AEW thing. Anyway, not important to this show.
Dark-
Bill, you're up next.
Dark AEW stuff, I think.
Dark Elevation.
No homework for next week.
No homework?
No homework.
What are we gonna do?
I've got something planned. You want me to tell you?
I mean, yeah,
We are going to play a game.
we're gonna play a game.
The
Who
three
knew?
of us?
The three of us are going to play WW Legends Royal Rumble, the card game.
What?
I saw it in Target. I said, I don't know what that is, but I'm buying it.
Okay, so we're gonna play a game
We're
next.
gonna
So
we're
probably
gonna
not a
learn
great show, but
and play a game.
it's not real complicated. We'll pick it up just fine.
okay.
Okay. I have WWE Uno over here somewhere.
No, this is they made so Ravensburger is the ones that make it.
Oh, they're good card
They
games. Or
made
they're good
Castles of Burgundy, which is
yeah.
one of my favorite board games. So an actual board game company
Making
Made a
WWE.
card game around the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
And there's like
Seems like very you.
I think it should be fun.
Yeah.
We'll find out. It might be a very bad episode, but I feel like every time we say that, it turns out fine.
Sure. Why not?
But yeah, so essentially we will have wrestlers who are given like different, these guys are strong because they're big or whatever.
Mhm.
And then there's like moves that you can do. You can cheat, but then some can block you if the referee sees you cheat. So there's just
Okay.
like I think it'll be a quick, fun thing to do.
Okay. We'll
right.
give it a shot.
I don't have to watch anything. That's fantastic.
No homework.
That's nice because it is Memorial Day weekend. So
It sure is. I have to reread the instructions and relearn how to do it, but it's simple.
are we doing this on Memorial Day?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, I'll be here. So I can.
Probably, yeah. By Memorial Day night, I should be done with whatever.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. That's it. That's the end of this. What's buzzing?